Hi everybody, I hope you and yours are well. This week is Parshat Shemot, the beginning of Chumash Shemot, the book of Exodus, which is known by our sages as the book of redemption. In it has the servitude that the Jewish people had in Egypt, the miraculous plagues, and eventually the Jewish people leaving Egypt, the splitting of the sea, the receiving of the Torah, as well as the building of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. And in this week's portion, in Parshat Shemot, Moshe is very hesitant to take on the role as being the leader of the Jewish people to try to get them out of Egypt. And one of the arguments he has with God is he says, I have a speech impediment, I don't speak well. And the Almighty says a powerful line to him, Moshe, who do you think created man with issues, with difficulties? Who do you think created a blind and seeing man? Or somebody who's dumb or deaf? It was all me. And this is an important lesson for us, because what we think is a negative in our service of the Almighty, maybe that's exactly what the Almighty wants us to do, to serve Him with the deficiencies that we have. And that's an important lesson to learn. In this week's parasha also, we find that the Jewish people are called Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. It's not just the children of Yaakov that are called that now, but now the nation of Israel is called the Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. And our sages tell us that Yisrael stands for Yesh Shishim Ribi Oisis LaTorah. There are 600,000 parts of letters in the Torah. And that's a powerful, important lesson for us, because a Torah scroll has to be perfect. If it's missing a letter or even a part of a letter, it's invalid. And that tells us an important lesson that's related to this point as well. Because every person represents a letter in the Torah. And if we're missing that letter, the Torah is invalid. So too the Jewish people. If we're missing part of the Jewish people, then we all lose out. We need every part of every letter in the Torah scroll and also in part of the Jewish people. And to take the lesson even further, there's a powerful story about in World War I, there was a Polish general, Marshal Pilsudski, who was being targeted by the enemies, and had he been captured and killed, it would have had a drastic impact on the war against the Poles. Eventually, the Poles would be able to get an independent country. So he was running for his life, and he went into the Jewish ghetto and knocked on a Jew's house, and he said, hide me, please, they're out to get me. He said, I'm a soldier. He didn't say exactly who he was, because he felt the risk would be far greater if he said he was, in fact, the general of the Polish army. The Jew said, I'm sorry, I can't keep you. You came in broad daylight to my door. Everyone saw you. Go around the corner, go to the back door of a nice Jewish man named Yosef, and he's a sweet person, and his back door is hidden by the trees. People won't see you. Maybe then he'll take you in, but I can't take you because it's going to be obvious they're going to come looking for you here. So he runs around the corner, goes to Yosef's house, bangs on the door, and he says, please, I'm running, the enemy's about to catch me, can you hide me? He says, I can't hide you. Please. He says, okay, come on in. He says, take off your uniform and put on clothing like I have. And he took the uniform and burnt it in the fireplace. And he tells him, I want you to sit in the corner with a prayer book, and I'll show you how to do it, and put on a tallis, a prayer shawl, and you just pray. And if they ask any questions, you just keep on praying and shaking and praying. Don't answer them. Sure enough, not long goes by. Open up. Any soldiers here? No, nobody said, we're going to check. And he looks, he says, who's that? He says, oh, that's my brother. He prays all day. And the soldiers said, okay, never mind, let him go. And after they left, the general tells him, thank you very much, I'm going to leave now. Time goes by and he gets an important notification that he's required to appear before the prime minister. He's all nervous, a Jewish man, the prime minister, he didn't know how to respond. He takes along his psalms and he goes to the prime minister's office and he waits outside and finally he's let in. The prime minister says, do you recognize me? He says, no. He says, I'm the soldier you saved. I was General Pilsudski. and now I'm prime minister, and I want to give you a gift. You can collect the taxes for the liquor, and you'll hopefully have a comfortable living, and anytime you need anything, let me know. The sage Lichavetz Chaim used to say this story over and to teach us an important lesson. He said, yes, he risked his life to save the soldier, not knowing who he was. Only later did he find out that this was the general that would become the prime minister of Poland. What about us? Many times we think that we do an act, it's just a little act, but we don't know the ramifications of the act. And when will we find out? We'll find out when we meet the Prime Minister in heaven. God tells us that little act wasn't so little. So everything we do, we are part of the living Torah of the Jewish people. We are a letter in that Torah. And we don't know the ramifications of even the smallest deed that we do. And therefore, we should take our contribution, despite our flaws, despite our imperfections, despite everything, to do the best that we can, to serve the Almighty with joy, and realize that we don't know the magnitude and the importance of every little act we do that is correct and proper, and every mitzvah we fulfill, every commandment we fulfill, and every word of Torah we study. Only when we meet our Maker, then will we know the huge ramifications of what appear to us to be little things, because they're not little. Have a great Shabbos. All the best.